Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Deidre Squires, and if you have been with me for a little while, you know a few weeks ago I decided that this summer was going to be about wall decor. I've done mandolins. I'm on my second wall hanging this summer. Let me show you. So this is the wall hanging. It's pretty simple. Here, I'll put it this way so you can see it a little better maybe. No, this is good. It does have a little string to hang it by. It's really cute, really easy. I'll go through the pattern. Well, yeah, it is a pattern because I made it. Kind of free-handed it, but I'll let you know how I made it. So if you decide you want to make one yourself, you can. A few weeks ago, I made the juniper wall hanging that I decided I was going to give to my cousin's daughter. He and his girlfriend are in the process of moving into a new home. They have 4 kids between the two of them. My cousin, he has a daughter and a son, and his girlfriend has 2 sons. So I'm in the process of kind of making some wall hangings because I'm not sure what the room situation is, but I was thinking about doing, a wall hanging for each kid. That way it kind of shows whose side of the room is whose, or if they have their own room. So for this, I am just calling this the granny square wall hanging, because that's what it is. It's 3 granny squares sewn together, placed on a dowel, and with a string. So my materials were just worsted weight yarn that I had from my stash, blue and white, as you can tell, and I used a 5mm hook, and I started off by making 3 granny squares. The 2 of them are so there's 3 rounds, 3 granny rounds of white for these 2, and then 3 rows of 3 granny rows of rounds of blue for these 2, and then the opposite for the middle one. So then when I finished making the granny squares, which if you've made a granny square, it's pretty quick and easy process to do. They just work up so quick and easy, and they're so fun to make and to use in different projects. As if you've seen other videos of mine, granny square is one of my favorite things to make. So once I made the granny squares, I single crocheted around the entire edge. This includes, I did a chain 1 between each of the clusters of double crochet. There is a chain 1 in each double crochet. Here, I'll bring it a little closer. In each double crochet, there's a single crochet. And then in the chain space in between is a single crochet as well. So, and then in the corners, because in the corners of a granny square, you have a chain 3 in the corners of granny squares. So I did 5 single crochets in the corner, just to make sure it remained flat. It didn't start to curl. And then I used blue yarn. Then I used the blue yarn and an invisible seam, which was earth-shattering. Not earth-shattering, but it was mind-blowing because I've struggled for years making small squares and putting them together. And this was just the best thing I've ever come across, because in the past what I've ended up doing was I would I would bring them up to each other flat like this, and then do like a single crochet or a slip stitch to combine them, and then you have that ridge. And that ridge, granted, there are times when that ridge is great. It gives some texture, but a lot of times I don't want that ridge. And this invisible seam was great. You use a yarn needle and you go, you see where, here, I'll let that drop. You kind of go in and out of the base, the bottom of along the bottom, this is actually the top of the stitch, or the bottom of the stitch if it was a chain. How you have that, you can just go right through, and then you alternate between each square. and just try to line them up so they don't like bunch up, and then pull it tight at the end, and it's so satisfying to be like, they're together and you can barely see a seam. I mean, you can little because there's a big color contrast, and this one is actually unfortunately a little loose, a little looser than I want. But honestly, this is not going to my cousin. I like the colors, and I decided to go a different route for the boys' wall hanging. So I'm gonna keep this for myself for my craft room. Once I finished putting them together with the invisible seam, I did a double crochet along the edge, and I did a chain 2 right here where they meet, because they, there's that little divot where they don't quite meet flush. Chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, 3 in the corner, went around, did the same thing. I finished around the entire project. Then I did a single crochet down as well, and in the chain 2 spot or chain 2 space, I did 2 single crochet. So all the way around, tied off, and sewed in my ends, which is the worst part of any project. But then I got a 10-inch dowel. Well, it's a 10 3/4 inch dowel. I actually went to Walmart earlier this week to get clothespins, those little clothespins that you pinch, and little like puff things, or they're called palms. Because my son does occupational therapy, and it's a fun and easy way to work his fine motor skills. He had more fun throwing the palms, and I had to pick them all up. But it's, everything takes time. But right next to them were these 10-inch dowels, and I was going to go to a craft store and get a big one and have to have my husband cut them down to the size that I needed. And these were like already there. I'm like, this is a perfect size. So we're just going to go with this. And yeah, and I think it'll work with my other projects that I'm working on too for the boys. The actual projects for the boys. So I single crocheted, attaching the dowel to the project. Obviously it couldn't go all the way to the edge because of the way the curve of the square. And then I was able to create a chain once I got to the end, and then connected it on the other side, sewed in my ends, and here you go. So it's not a very advanced project, obviously, and that's fine. Not every crochet project has to be super advanced. We all do this at our own pace. We all do this, sometimes we challenge ourselves to do things that are out of our comfort zone, like a crochet pillow. Like this, I've never done this before. So challenging myself and doing this, it's something that, you do at your own pace. You push yourself to do something challenging, but then you can always go back to the basics and do something fun and cute, and something that, even if you don't do anything with it, you just hang it up in your craft room, which I'm pretty sure it's gonna go right around here. Oops, right around here somewhere. That's the joy of crochet. You just do what you want. I don't want to say if you're good enough, but if you're driven enough and you want to make things and sell them, go for it. I am so envious of those people, because I don't want to say I get really bored, but I get bored with making the same crochet item over and over and over again. Like if I made hats for a living, I would be bored. Other people, they love it, and that's great. And you know what? They probably get to the point where like they know the pattern like the back of their hand, and they can just go and not have to worry about anything because they've got it memorized. Tonight, and that's just not me. All right, well, I think that's it, guys. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please follow me for other pattern reviews and other projects that I'm creating and talking about. Please leave a comment below if there is a pattern that you want reviewed, like a pattern that you are curious about, whether it's a pattern that you designed yourself or one that you want some tips and tricks on, and maybe it'll be in the next video. And keep crocheting. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.